Hi everyone, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to share with you 10 things that inspire me for fall. It's August as I'm filming this. Summer's not quite over yet, but because I have a small business and I'm always making things, I get excited about the upcoming season, and I like to think about what's intriguing me about, in this case, it's going to be fall. And I've been making lists about the sort of things that I want to be working on and the themes that I want to work with. So I thought I'd share them with you. And I'm limiting myself to 10 topics because I can kind of get a little out of control when it comes to inspirations. So I'm just gonna get right into it. First thing on my list is kind of a given with my work, which is animals. The theme of animals, I always put in symbols, specifically animal symbolism in my work, but I feel like autumn is especially great for woodland animals like deer and chipmunks and squirrels and certain birds. And I'm also inspired by horses. I've been really wanting to make a lot of work with horses. I'm especially inspired by layouts of having animals interacting with each other. So I have like a piece I'm working on that's a horse interacting with a butterfly, and I like the idea of having a bird interacting with a land animal, or like two deer together in a scene, or a couple bunnies together in a scene, that sort of thing. The next thing I wrote down is architecture / geographical location. What I mean by that specifically for me is Philadelphia, which is kind of funny because I've resisted living here pretty much ever since I moved, but I'm coming around to Philadelphia and I'm really enjoying walking around the neighborhoods and taking note of like the interesting details of homes, like really cool doors. There's a lot of wrought iron in Philly, cool mailboxes, stained glass, old buildings, even like interesting windows. I like the idea of incorporating aspects like that into some of my pieces. The symbolism of exteriors of buildings is interesting to me. My third inspiration is fabric manipulation, and this is more of a fashion and style category for me. My other two, I guess, were referencing the kind of work I want to be making. I mean, I consider fashion work as well, but I actually just ordered a book from one of those secondhand booksellers online. I believe it's called Fabric Manipulation, or The Art of Fabric Manipulation. So I'm really excited to see what's in there, and I'm inspired by smocking. I've been trying some projects here and there, but I really want to get more into smocking and pleating and just messing around with deconstructing clothes and like interesting applique. I've done scrap t-shirt and like that kind of work in the past, but I want to do some more stuff and get even more experimental with that. Fall is such like a fun time for getting dressed. I definitely want to invigorate my wardrobe with some pieces like that. My fourth thing is, well, I wrote down needlework deviation. If you're familiar with my work, you know I do embroidery and I do beading. And what I mean by needlework deviation is, one, I'm really inspired by cross stitch, which is very random of me, and it might be that I've just seen my own embroidery work so often that I need a sort of refresh in my mind of like the work I'm producing and what I'm looking at. I need it to feel new and different, and so cross stitch kind of intrigues me in the way it's kind of almost like sparse. I don't know, I love cross-stitch samplers. I'm just interested in incorporating cross-stitch into my embroidery practice and learning it a bit more. When I ordered my fabric manipulation book, I also got a book on cross-stitch. So that's something I want to practice. And then another thing that I got recently is a punch needle, which I still haven't tried yet. And I got the punch needle mostly because I need a break from the motions of embroidery, and I thought that might be a good way for me to still make stuff, but instead of the twisting motion of a needle going in and out of fabric, it's just punching. I don't know, I just thought maybe it would be better. But if anything, it's also just learning something different and new and having a different effect that the threads can make. I'm also very inspired by depictions of things in lace, like really intricate antique lace work that depicts a picture of something. I'm inspired by that both in embroidery and in drawing. Like I want to make drawings that are of lace depicting other things or even trying to do some lace mimicking designs in crochet, like filet crochet, I think is what it's called. I think in the autumn and winter it's fun to get back into knitting and crocheting just for the practical purpose of making hats and scarves and stuff as it gets colder. So I might try to get back into knitting and crocheting for the holidays, and also maybe incorporate it into my creative artistic practice. Okay, so the fifth thing on my autumn inspirations list is color analysis. Probably seems pretty random or like very behind the times. That was really trendy, I don't know, 4 years ago or something. I'm usually late to the trends, but I've kind of discovered color analysis, or I've finally come around to it. It's interesting to me now, and I've definitely tried to analyze what color season I am. I think I'm somewhere between a soft autumn or a soft summer. I'm not sure if I'm cool or warm. That's my one thing. Maybe if you have an idea of what season I am, you can let me know. And I would like to be more mindful about the sort of color schemes that just make me feel good. Because I've been looking at these like soft autumn color palettes or soft summer color palettes, it's inspired me to approach my other work with more of a refined color palette. I guess I'm just inspired generally by the idea of restricting your color palette. Sometimes I think restrictions help creativity more than having like every option. Growing up, I always had some kind of a restriction as far as materials, the supplies that we had at home, and I'd have to be creative about making things with what I had. Number 6 on my list is a bunch of things, but overall I'm inspired by punk and DIY and almost like alternative art, like tattoos, or I don't know, I'm just inspired by punk, I think. Use what you have around. It leans kind of ethereal too, but also is inherently anti-capitalist, extremely unique and not reliant on like the purchasing of anything. This kind of comes back around to the fabric manipulation. I want to get more experimental with painting on things, messing things up a bit, caring less about perfection, doing more t-shirts that are drawn on in pen. I don't know, like little rips and unfinished stuff and messy hair. Number 7 is a continuation of punk, and that would be community. It's not a super concrete thing to put on a list of inspirations, but I have just been thinking a lot about what that even means, what community means. Feeling very pulled towards figuring out what my place is in the real world and how I can just get together with my friends more often, or anyone, and figure out how to teach classes or like have some kind of craft club. Although I feel like YouTube in some ways feels like a step in the right direction because it's fun to interact with people here and like answer messages or comments or whatever. I put community down on my inspiration list because it's my intention to organize some kind of get together with my friends to work on things really, really nice, to hang out with other artists, because I don't know, they just get it. My 8th thing I probably mentioned before in whatever my last inspiration video was, but I'm still very much inspired by quilts and quilt blocks, geometric pattern aspect of design. So I still want to incorporate that into my work. I still want to make some quilts. I have some quilted pillows here that I made. I love these, even though they've become kind of lumpy as we use them. I just love quilts and I'm still not over them yet. That's on my list. I don't have that much more to say about it. Okay, so my 9th thing that I'm inspired by, the 9th thing on my list I wrote down, is home decor and interior design. One, I'm excited by like home decor motifs. Like I'd love to make some hoops of beaded chairs with a cat sleeping on it or something, or like a cute little lamp beaded or embroidered on a shirt, stuff like that. Also, I'm inspired by home decor and design for the sake of decorating our apartment. We've been here since May and really have not put an insane amount of effort into decorating the place. And both Lewis and I are quite skilled in different ways that would benefit refreshing a space with not too much money. Like Lewis is refinishing a coffee table that I thrifted. I can sew things, so we don't have curtains right now. The apartment came with blinds already installed, so they've been working fine, but I feel like taking our apartment to the next level with some like custom curtains. I want to get a new couch so badly. This couch is really destroyed with cat scratches, and it's also super lumpy, and I think it's affecting my back. Oh, and then that kind of leads to my last one. Number 10, I put down that I'm inspired by coziness and comfort. I've come to the realization that, especially the way I dress, I think my biggest priority is comfort. So if I'm making clothes or embroidering clothes, I want to especially pick pieces that I myself would wear. Going into fall, I want to thrift super cozy sweatshirts and cardigans, even just like soft t-shirts, clothes that feel really good, because that's what I like to wear. Super cozy socks. Not that I embroider socks, but like I want to be wearing super cozy socks. Just comfy shoes and stuff, and I still feel like you can look really cool and be comfortable, but that's something I'm thinking a lot about. That's more so for my personal style, but also I am just generally inspired by the vibe of coziness. And I guess that goes back around to like wanting to bead a cozy armchair with a cat sleeping on it. I want my work to evoke a sort of coziness to it, especially for fall. Little animals napping together, that sort of thing. Maybe it's just as I get older, I just realize how important coziness is and comfiness is, and that's what I'm gonna be embracing for fall. Yeah, I hope everyone is doing well out there, and I hope you liked this video. I hope it gave you a little bit of inspiration yourself, and I'll be back soon with another video.